this is going to be a really tough one for a lot of you to hear. It might not be your fault, but it is your problem. I want to talk to you about the 5 hard lessons I learned in my 30s that I wish I understood better in my 20s. Welcome to another episode of the Disciplined Man podcast, where we talk about discipline, mindset, and the profound impact they have on manhood. We know manhood doesn't look the same for everyone, and real strength lies in authenticity and personal truth. So join us as we discuss how real men think, how we feel, and how we navigate the complexities of modern masculinity. As you notice, it's just me today, and I'll probably switch it up every now and then just to kind of open up some more conversations, hopefully. Now, I'm of the belief that we need to constantly be learning, constantly growing, constantly challenging ourselves to get better. When we come on this podcast, we want to talk about mental, spiritual, physical, and financial discipline. And the importance of having discipline in every single one of those areas is really to understand what you need to consistently work on. And so you need to take daily action in each one of those areas of your lives in order to consistently get better. If you're tapping each one of those areas of your life, there's going to be times when one area may slack off as the other improves. So you want to build systems around you or systems for yourself to consistently focus on discipline in those areas. But before I get too long-winded and off topic, I want to talk to you about the 5 hard lessons I learned in my 30s that I wish I understood better in my 20s. First and foremost, you are not special. Now, before you get crazy, you are unique. You're just not special. Now, let me give you a little backstory here on why I say that. I started a journey years ago, 12, 13 years ago, as a speaker, as somebody who traveled to different locations to perform and or speak in different arenas. And so I've traveled everywhere. At that point in time, I was living in Tennessee. So I traveled from Tennessee to New York, Tennessee to California, Tennessee to backwoods Shibuya and Quitman, Mississippi. In some areas, I was paid handsomely to come travel and speak. In others, I wasn't paid at all. But I had built this thing in my head that I was going to work with some amazing people. And I knew inevitably it would happen. So I was going to do everything I could financially to make a lot of those things happen. Now, during this journey, I was watching Eric Thomas a lot. Now, for those of you who might be unfamiliar with Eric Thomas, he's the gentleman who says, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you'll be successful. And that's something I truly believe. Now, it's also a mini lesson that I learned in a completely different way over the past few years. But I wanted to bring that up because in working with Eric Thomas, you probably get a feeling that you've made it or you've done something. Now, even at that point, I had built a YouTube with thousands of subscribers because of videos that I did with a friend of mine. And during that part of my journey, I knew of the importance of consistency. So have you ever heard the saying? Well, I'm sure you have, but hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Again, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So for me, it's always been about surrounding yourself with the right group of people and somehow finding a way to be consistent. Through the years, I've done a variety of different things. I've self-published books. I've gotten on different shows to speak, but I wish, kind of thinking back on a lot of those opportunities that I had, that I was able to leverage those opportunities in a different way. Les Brown always talks about it. It's better to prepare for an opportunity that you don't have than to have an opportunity and be unprepared. So you are not special. You still have to work hard for those opportunities, and not just with people like Eric Thomas, but opportunities to allow yourself to grow in your craft, whether it's writing, whether it's acting, whether it's sports or whatever it may be. You have to continue to work hard and build discipline around those things every single day. So the reason you're not special is because the work is still required of you. You have to put in those 10,000 hours. I'm still learning. I'm still growing in the process of becoming the speaker, the creator, the entrepreneur that I desire to be. And I understand that there's work that needs to be done every single day in order to make that happen. The second lesson I want to share with you is you're going to suck. And it's okay to suck. You have to embrace that struggle. One of the things that I learned about myself is I was a great talker, but not as good of a communicator as I thought I was. The talker is somebody who gets in a situation and they're talking over people. They're not really comprehending. They're not really understanding what's happening on the other side because they're not digging into the surface. They just have a point that they want to make. And so for me, I sucked at sales, something that I thought I was actually decent at. I sucked at it because I was talking and pitching instead of communicating. But again, you're going to suck. But I will tell you, any skill can be developed. The importance of understanding that is when you think about the Michael Phelps of the world, the Kobe Bryants, the LeBron James, they've spent years and years developing a skill. You think about the Bruce Lees. Essentially, to summarize it, he talks about not being afraid of the guy who practiced 10,000 kicks once, but being afraid of the guy who's practiced one kick 10,000 times. You have to put in the hours. And the reason why you practice one kick 10,000 times is because you suck. Steph Curry is taking shots. I think it was Tony Robbins who talked about the number of shots. I think it was like 15,000 shots throughout his career. I could be wrong, so feel free to correct me. But even though he has reached the highest level of what he can possibly be at for his career, he still practices every single day. So you're going to suck. That's okay. But if you want to get better at something, at the end of the day, regardless of how talented you are, you have to put in the time. The next thing we want to talk about, number 3, and I won't spend too much time on this one, but you don't want to act out of desperation. With a lot of things in life, you have to be willing to detach from the outcome. It doesn't matter if it's relationships, it doesn't matter if it's personal, it doesn't matter if it's sales. When you think about detaching from the outcome, you allow yourself to operate more authentically. Now, I'm going to give you another sales example. This is in no way me bragging, but I've done deals that have paid me handsomely. And the ones that I really, really wanted, and I started to act out of desperation and push and push and push, those are the deals that I've lost. But the ones that I actually detached from the outcome and actually properly communicated with the people that were on the other side, those are the deals that I was able to close because I detached from the outcome and I connected with the human. I connected with the person that was on the other side instead of acting out of desperation and calling and texting and doing all these things. And if anybody has ever been broken up with, the moment you start to call, you lower your value because that person on the other side doesn't see you as somebody who they want to connect with, somebody who they want to be with, somebody who they want to work with, because what they're looking at is somebody who is constantly blowing them up. And they're like, you know what? I don't want to work with this guy because he's going to do X, Y, Z, and it's going to be very annoying. So again, another lesson, do not act out of desperation. Number 4, your feelings do not matter. The work you have to do for yourself on your mental, on your spiritual, on your physical, on your financial, those don't have feelings. That's work that you have to do on yourself. People will sympathize with you, but people have their own issues. They only have so much time to spend on whatever you have going on. It doesn't matter how you feel. At the end of the day, the world continues to move forward. I remember I tore my ACL 7 years ago, and I'm looking around at all of these people now. I pretty much had, it wasn't a botched surgery. It's just that I had some reactions in my leg, pretty much had this blood clot in it. And I'm like super worried. And because it felt like somebody was pulling my leg apart, there was a point in that journey where I was being pushed around in a wheelchair. And then I'm looking around at everybody else, feeling like the world was moving forward without me. Now, the truth in all of that is it really didn't matter because I had to navigate that. I had to deal with that. Nobody owed me anything. Now, of course, I had a great support system throughout that process, but I had to do the work on myself. Your feelings don't matter. It's up to you to take action to transform your life and to do the things that you desire to do in order to become the person that you desire to be. Number 5, this is going to be a really tough one for a lot of you to hear. No one is coming to save you. Now, I've talked about this extensively in other videos, and I talk about not leaving room for yourself to give excuses, not blaming other people. It might not be your fault, but it is your problem. And regardless of where you start, there is nobody coming to save you. You have to take ownership of your life. Now, when I talk about nobody coming to save you, that doesn't mean that at some point you won't get some support, you won't be able to be a part of some community, or somebody might come along and actually write you a check. But you have to understand that that is less likely than if you were to take ownership of your life and actually take control of your life by doing the things that are necessary for you to be the person that you desire and hopefully that you deserve to be. But you deserve it because of the work you do. You deserve it because the amount of time you spend working on yourself. You deserve it because when you put in those 10,000 hours, when you practice that one kick 10,000 times, it puts you in a position where you are preparing for an opportunity, even if you don't have it. And when an opportunity finally comes, you are prepared in ways that other people simply will not be. I wanted to spend some time talking about those lessons because there are a lot of you who are in your 20s, some of you in your 30s, and some even older or younger who may be going through difficult periods of your life. And you're trying to understand what needs to happen as you transition, what needs to happen as you grow, and you're scared. You don't know the next step that you need to take. Well, I want you to take these lessons and apply them to the daily work that you continue to do on yourself. Block out time for you every week. What I try to do is spend 3 hours each week in preparation for the week to come by focusing on the things that I need to achieve and setting goals for myself and having the discipline around those things. And I promise you, when you give yourself the space to do that, it's truly going to transform your life and you will achieve a lot more. This was a solo episode. If you guys like it, I will continue to do more and more of these. I look forward to having a lot more of these conversations with you. Now, this is the Discipline Man podcast, where we talk about discipline, mindset, and a profound impact they have on manhood. Discipline equals freedom. So have mental, have spiritual, have physical, have financial discipline. And that's going to allow you to transform your life in ways that you might not even be prepared for. So the reason why we're here each and every week is to share how real men think, how we feel, and how we navigate the complexities of modern masculinity. Thanks for joining. Until next time.